Hey guys, it's Fred. It's going to be an interesting video because it has some personal attachment to it as far as I'm concerned. I was in the Marine Corps 75 to 78, and after I went to Parris Island and Camp Pendleton, Parris Island in South Carolina and Camp Pendleton in California. And I was, my duty station was Jacksonville, Florida. Cecil Field, NAS Cecil Field, Florida, Marine Barracks. We done security. And when I got out of the Marine Corps in 1978, November, I started college courses there in Jacksonville. And I also, my goal was, for going into the Marines, was to get to 21 years old where I could become a police officer. And there's an old patch, Office of the Sheriff, Bowden, New City of the South, four-wheel drive division. I had a Jeep while I was in the Marine Corps, and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department had a unit called the four-wheel drive posse. It was an auxiliary. You were a auxiliary deputy sheriff, and permit to carry a gun, go to a police academy. It was a modified police academy, in fact, and you shoot and different things. I shot the high score in my class there. I also did the same thing in Department of Criminal Justice training when I graduated the police academy in Kentucky. I shot high score in my class there. I've always been a fairly good shooter. And that was the patch, and there was the ID. It's hard to see the ID card, but it's Duval County Sheriff's Department, certified at Freddie McCoy, and my unit number was 412. Dale Carson was the sheriff at the time. So after I got out of the Marine Corps in Jacksonville, I did that for a while I went to school before returning home. This story here is about Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville Sheriff's Department. I just watched a documentary the other day of a guy that rode around with the sheriff for an hour and a half long video probably, and he took them all over Jacksonville and reminiscing. And so this is not real good publicity for them, but here's the video, and see if this is how you would want to be treated or want somebody in your family treated. There's no reason for this kind of conduct, guys. We're not the mob. We're not the mafia. We're not the Gestapo. We're there to protect and serve. See if this looks like these guys are protecting and serving.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hand. Here.
Tonight at 11, a traffic stop ends with a Jacksonville sheriff's officer smashing the driver's window, punching him, throwing him on the ground. This video going viral on social media tonight with nearly 900,000 views on Instagram and counting. I personally spoke with the man behind the wheel who says the incident left him with multiple injuries.
Yeah, I was taken to jail. I suffered a chipped tooth, a split lip. My tooth went through my lip after they slammed me on the ground, and it chipped on the concrete. And I had to get 9 stitches, 5 on the outside, 4 on the inside. And then I also had a concussion and suffer from short-term memory loss now.
The altercation happened back in February, but the driver, William McNeil Jr., says he did not feel safe to share the story until now.
McNeil tells us that he didn't only walk away with physical injuries, but also PTSD. And he says that's why it took him 9 months to come forward.
Taking another close look at this video, officers break McNeil Jr.'s window, punch him in the face, and ask to see his hands. It ends with 3 officers pulling him to the ground. News 4 Jax reporter Chris Will joins us live from the Sheriff's Office headquarters tonight.
Chris, the man in the post has hired civil rights attorneys Harry Daniels and Ben Crump.
Yeah, and in a statement shared with our newsroom, Crump said McNeil was not a threat to anyone, and Daniels added that he is absolutely disgusted. It's a video that, as we mentioned, closing in on 1 million views today on Instagram, shared across all platforms. And it brings us to the middle of what William McNeil Jr. says was a traffic stop for not having his headlights on, claiming that it was not raining. The person on the passenger side that he's talking to, though, responds saying that that does not matter. And after some back and forth, you can see how things unfolded.
call your supervisor?
All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
Guys, notice when he punched him there, he already had his hands there. His hands were exposed. He brought them straight up. There was nothing in his hands. These guys are like a bunch of badgers or something. They're raring to go outside that door. It's like they can't get him out fast enough so they can abuse him some more. The one fella out there with the glass, as soon as he gets them out, he gives them an uppercut right up underneath the chin. He hits them again. And again, it goes back to the Ron Whited comedian where he says they came to arrest him. And the 10 officers came. He didn't know how many it was going to take, but he knew how many they were going to use. And this is exactly the scenario that he's talking about. These guys, they can't get to this fella along fast enough. They can't, each one of them has to get a punch or a lick or a kick or whatever that they're doing there. You can't see their feet for the door. But they didn't want nothing but flesh. This is nothing but contempt of cop. I'm the police and you're not. And this is what you're going to get.
Officers then opening the driver door, unfastening his seatbelt, and pull McNeil out of the car. Several more officers come over. One can be seen striking McNeil again in the face before they wrestle him to the ground.
If you'll notice, the one guy has his hands behind his back. He's already put his hands behind his back, and that officer in the front punches him directly up underneath his chin for no reason. This guy is doing anything except resisting. I know resisting when I see it. You wouldn't see me making a video if these guys were proper and justified in using physical force. There would be no reason to make a video. This is about the officers out there that continually abuse people just because they can. Guys, if you'll take all your police officers from across the United States, every city, every state, and add them together, that's the biggest gang. If you wanted to call them a gang, that's the biggest gang in the world. United States police officers are the biggest. You know, we have a chapter, I used to be in the Blue Knights, and it's motorcycle. It's cops that ride motorcycles. And if you'll take all the police officers across the United States that ride motorcycles that belong to the Blue Knights, we have the largest motorcycle club in America. Bigger than the Outlaws, bigger than the Hells Angels, bigger than any of them that you want to name. But see, we're not a club. We're not a gang. We're supposed to be there to protect and serve. We're not there to beat up and beat down people. That's not what our goal should be.
Out of view of camera with commands of stop fighting and stop resisting.
I've covered this before. How police officers, now everything that you have seen on a video, the man has got his hands up. He's asking for a supervisor. They pulled this man over because he don't have his headlights in. I don't know what year car he's got. I'm sure Crump will find out. But I would say the newer vehicles, they come on. Your headlights automatically come on when it gets till it's unsafe to drive without your headlights. So they come on automatically. So whether it was a cloudy day or not, if it was that cloudy, more than likely the vehicle's headlights would have came on their own. They also say at the end of this video that he didn't have a seatbelt on. They was protecting him. You beat the crap out of somebody to protect them, to make sure they wear their seatbelt? Is that ironic? But when you hear them say, stop resisting, stop fighting, that doesn't go along with what we're seeing visually. We're seeing a man with his hands up. We're seeing a man being beat up and not resisting. I don't know how he contained himself not to resist, not to fight back, taking a beating like he just took. But yet they're saying, quit resisting, quit fighting. Now that's for the jury to hear if that case would have went to trial. That's for them to hear so they can hear that on an officer's body cam, and in their mind they think, oh, he was fighting. They keep telling him, no, he's not fighting. That's the way they train. That's the way police officers train. know that your body camera's on, and when they can't see, go ahead and say whatever you want, because that will be affixed in the juror or the judge's mind. It's sad. It's very sad.
News4Jax spoke with McNeil on the phone. He says it took a lot to get to the point where he felt he could share that video online.
It took me a minute to mentally be able to even post the video, because I knew I would have to see it multiple times. And yeah, looking at the video used to bother with my mind a lot, and I would get flashbacks and stuff like that, PTSD stuff, and I just didn't like that. But now I'm good, and now I need to fight this.
Sheriff T.K. Waters putting out a statement on social media today saying, "We are aware of a video circulating on social media showing a traffic stop represented to be from February 19th, 2025. We have launched an internal investigation into it and the circumstances surrounding this incident. We hold our officers to the highest standards and are committed to thoroughly determine."
If they hold their officers to the highest standards, and once upon a time, Jacksonville, I remember when Dale Carson was the sheriff, they were an exceptional sheriff's department. And if they do, that they will fire what officers are here, and probably criminal charges on a couple of the assaults where this man's not resisting. This man is doing nothing at all in a threatening manner towards any officer to warrant being struck with a fist.
Exactly what occurred. And News4Jax just got the arrest report in this case. We continue to work through the details in that report, but in it, the officer says he saw McNeil at a stop sign without his head and tail lights on, but also says he did not have his seatbelt on during inclement weather. And according to court records, both of those charges were dismissed. He was adjudicated guilty for resisting arrest without violence and
resisting arrest. He pled guilty to resisting arrest just to get this case behind him. He pled guilty to resisting arrest because at no time did that fella resist arrest that I've saw on any video, and I've seen 3 of them now. I can tell you what it tells you. Make sure you wear your seatbelt in Jacksonville, because they'll beat the crap out of you if you don't. It's what it tells you.
Driving on a suspended license. This is a story we will continue to follow here at News4Jax, both on air and online. But for now, reporting live.
See, guys, I don't care if he was driving with a suspended license. I don't care what he was doing that he's going to go to jail for. He needs to stand trial. He needs to be charged. He needs to plead guilty to those charges if he is in fact suspended. But does a suspended license warrant been beat up or beat down like this? Is it up to the police officers? Oh, I dare you to drive with a suspended license. I dare you not to turn your headlights on. I dare you not to fasten your seatbelt. This is not what it's about. I'm sorry if I get on a rant. I'm sorry if I carry on. I did this for 40 years, and I had my share of resisting. I had my share of fights. I had my share of charges on people. But you don't have to abuse. You can't beat people into respecting the police. You're not going to get respect by beating it into somebody. That's not what happens. Guys, I was thinking, this patch there is 50 years old. It's 50 years ago, this November, that I went in the Marine Corps in 1975. This is the Marine Corps' 250th birthday, and I was sitting in Paris Island on November the 10th, 1975, for the 200th birthday. So it's always been easy for me to remember how many birthdays it was. So, but that patch is from 1978. I don't know if any of you is from Jacksonville, Florida, or around Duval County. Do they still have the 4-wheel drive posse? It's an auxiliary unit, or it was. We patrolled the beaches. If you had a 4-wheel drive, you patrolled the beaches. If there was missing persons out in the woods and stuff, they would call out the 4-wheel drive. If there was races or some kind of big event and they needed traffic control, all it did is clear the real officers up to do real police work with the auxiliary officers. Plus, it gave the auxiliary officers, the young guys, let us get our foot in the door, get us some law enforcement background and so forth like that. Thanks for watching. Sorry if it's a long video. I thought it was very interesting that this conduct has to stop, and the only way to stop this conduct is to share these videos. Share them, make it known to people that if people mess up, if people commit crimes, that's fine. We need to charge them and put them in jail. That's the way it's supposed to work. But we're not there for punishment. We're not there to deliver punishment for personalities, for attitude adjustments. That's not our job. And when we do that, it does nothing but demeanor and lower us. It makes people disrespect and distrust the police. We have got to do better. Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.